like to thank the small fringe minority. Governor Pritzker, the small fringe minority, sir.
I just want to thank everyone for coming today. For the last year and a half, we have fought the mandates. All these mama bears, we fought for our children. J.B. Pritzker shut down our churches, he shut down our schools, he masked our children, and he's going to do it again. It is imperative that we get out and vote. I am so honored to be standing in front of these two men today. Darren Bailey, Tom DeVore, they have fought for our children. They will fight for us. Please get out and vote. And I'm here to introduce your next Attorney General, Thomas DeVore.
You want to talk? Come on. Right there, you guys. That's what it's all about. Back in April 2020, late March, when this all started with mandates and they've progressed to where we're at today, the people standing in this room is who myself and Darren Bailey were fighting for.
That's
I would respect... I would respectfully disagree with Governor Pritzker that they are the small fringe minority. I would respectfully say that they have for far too long been the silent majority. And they're not going to be silent anymore, I assure you. Because the room here right now has, I don't know how many passionate citizens in here, but unlike the governor, we don't have to give people free tacos to show up. His and my opponent's campaigns are nothing but a facade. Right. It's a theater that they try to create to convince the people of this state that they have something to offer, and they don't. For far too long, starting in the fall of 2021, we were dealing with mask and exclusion policies of our children from school that had caused and has caused untold and immeasurable harm to those children's education and their emotional growth. We all know that to be true. The mothers standing in this room knew it when it was happening, and yet no one listened. We also had the vaccinations that were being thrust upon many of our nurses, police officers, firefighters, other public officers who fought for the better part of the first year of this pandemic on the front lines without even the discussion of vaccinations, but that service wasn't good enough, and then all of a sudden they force it upon them and threaten their employment and their livelihoods if they didn't. I knew then, as sure as I knew standing here today, that they would never stop, they being the governor and his administration. And then they can make a recommendation about adding another vaccine that then goes to the Department of Health. The Department of Health can then promulgate a rule to add it. The General Assembly has no legislative needs. There's the JCAR oversight, but that's a different point. But the governor saying that the legislature makes that decision, again, was not the case. The law doesn't require it. So these emails that we have then provided now to the media shows that they are already formulating how to lay that out. And the director of the Department of Health now sent an email that said that they're likely going to receive some pushback in the promoting of vaccines in the short term. And you may have those say, well, that doesn't necessarily say they're doing it. And I would ask you, are there any other vaccines in the short term that the Department of Health would be promoting? No. Of course not. Of course not. I made a call to the Department of Health today, and I asked them, do you have the date for this meeting of this committee? And they said the best we know right now is the second week of December. So as we stand here today, around the second week of December, the Illinois Immunization Advisory Committee is set to have a hearing about making a recommendation. And you can ask yourself, do you think that they're going to have that and then recommend we don't add it? You can draw your own conclusions. I think if you read the emails, the language is pretty clear. What can we do about that? How can we put forth an effort to stop there being a requirement? Because under the law of the state of Illinois, if that requirement is added properly by rule, then you have a choice as a parent. You either have your child receive it, you have a valid religious or medical exemption, or your child doesn't go to school and you have to do something different. Because the law allows them to kick your child out of school if you don't comply or have an exemption. How can you stop that in the short term?
Start your own
It's real simple. Who appoints the director of the Department of Health? The governor. J.B. Pritzker made his choice, and I believe he made the wrong one. I am firmly convinced, but you're going to hear real soon, that Senator Bailey, when he becomes the governor of the state of Illinois, that he will not appoint anyone to the Department of Public Health that would try to promote, I'm going to use their words, promote adding any vaccines in the near future. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you, to talk about this, Senator Darren Bailey.
God bless you, and thank you all for being here today. This is absolutely amazing, and it is an honor to stand here with mothers and their children and parents in the future of Illinois that we are indeed fighting for.
Protect our kids.
And that's what I promise. I promise you this, that your children's future will always be my top priority. I will not waver under pressure, and I will never stop fighting for them and the future of our state. J.B. Pritzker uses our kids to make political points. He locks school children out of their classrooms, and he tries to twist their tender minds with ideology in his quest to be the most left-wing governor in America. Now his minions are looking to impose vaccine mandates on our children. JB is a That's right. JB is a thief who stole precious moments from our children. And they may never get those moments back. And now another experiment is in the works. Large-scale child vaccination. JB thinks that parents are dimwits as he lies to them, as well as to the media. Just the other day, JB, running for re-election, said that he would not mandate the COVID-19 vaccine on school-aged children. But now that we know his administration, that's right, lied. Because now we know that his administration is exploring ways to do it after the election, just as Tom said. Parents, you can't trust this guy, and you know that. The charade is no surprise. JB has a well-documented history of thinking that unelected government bureaucrats know better than the parents. Pritzker has continued to push authoritative mandates with little regard to the long-term consequences of our children. He ignores parents in his attempts to vilify parents who dare to speak out and stand up for our children. Enough is enough.
That's right.
Friends, J.B. Pritzker continues to experiment on our kids and betray the parents' trust. We cannot allow this to happen anymore. J.B. used students as pawns in a political game where he shut down our schools. He eliminated sports. He canceled graduations and proms while destroying mental health, and the problem is real. JB owes all of our students an apology. He owes every family in Illinois an apology. This was unacceptable, and this is unacceptable what he's doing right now. As your governor, I promise to keep schools open safely and prioritize the budget to invest in our students.
Protect our students. Protect the children.
And friends, on my watch, your children's education will never be forced to take a step backwards. Parents and students here in Illinois, they deserve better. On day one, I will fire the entire State Board of Education. I will fire every director that's failing our children and working families across the state. And let me be clear, I will not appoint an Illinois Department of Public Health director who will attempt to mandate the COVID-19 vaccine. Decisions belong to you. These decisions belong to the parents. These decisions belong to the parents with the consultation of their family physicians, because you know what's best for your children and their unique circumstances. Friends, when we fire J.B. Pritzker, the days of top-down authoritarian rule will be over. My administration will listen to the parents, my administration will work with the parents, and my administration will include the parents. We will give the power back to local school boards, and we will demand that parents have a voice in our schools. All decisions will be based on what's in the best interest of our students, not in fear, not in politics, but in the best interest of our students.
Right.
Friends, my administration will protect children.
All right.
We will invest in students. We will ensure that educators have the support to prepare our students to chase their dreams and accomplish their next steps in life. Friends, the time is now. We've got 2 days. Change is coming. Illinois is destined to be the state that our children and our grandchildren will stay, live, thrive, work, get educated in, and raise their families in. I want to thank you so much. God bless the state of Illinois. Let's get out there. Let's fire Pritzker. Let's restore Illinois. With that,